Nathan Sharansky had this incredible way to identify what anti-Semitism is. He said there were 3 Ds. If Israel is, or the Jews are being delegitimized, or demonized, or if there's a double standard. The 3 Ds. It's a brilliant way to identify whether something is anti-Semitic. And that's great, but it's not so great. And I'll tell you why it's not so great. Imagine there's a train, and there's a train coming towards you, and you can say that train is anti-Semitism. Look, it's coming towards us. It's got all the markers. 3 Ds, demonization, delegitimization, double standards. It's coming towards us. And so what's our instinct? Let's get on social media. Let's get on TikTok. Let's get better PR. Let's go to the United Nations. Let's pitch Trump. Let's get Musk on our side because there's a train coming. Can't you see, guys? The train's coming closer. We need to rally the forces. We need to get together, stamp out anti-Semitism. The train's, can't you see? Everyone can see the train, and everyone can see it's coming closer. Hitler drove a train. Just because you can see it doesn't mean that we're not going to get smashed. And that's what happens. We recognize it, and we get smashed again and again and again and again. What does it matter that we can identify the thing? I've made so many films where we've accurately identified the train, and I'm sick of making these films. I don't want to make these movies anymore. I want to make a movie that's like, there's a train coming, and it's going to kill all of us, and it's the 3 Ds, and look, and let's get everybody. And I want to say, look, let's just step off the track, and the train can just go past us. Why are we standing on the track? Just step off the track. If you step off the track, the train's not going to get you. So then the question is, how do you step off the track? Now, this is only my opinion. I know nothing. There are minds in this hall, in this auditorium, that are much, much greater than mine. So what I'm saying could be wrong, and you can argue, and I want to just put that out there. This is not, this is just my opinion based on 25 years of making these kind of things. We're asking the wrong question. I think we need to do the 3 Ds 2.0. What's the next step of the 3 Ds? Not what it is, but why it is. That's step number 1. Why is it? So instead of Sharansky's, not instead of, on top of Sharansky's 3 Ds, because they are great, I'd like to humbly suggest 3 other 3 Ds. The 3 Ds of why anti-Semitism happens, and this is really where we leave off from the film. When the Jews are disconnected, when the Jews are disunited, and when the Jews have doubt. Disconnection, disunity, and doubt. I'm sure you all remember, before the war, there were these protests that were happening in Israel. The country was pretty much ripped in half. And the country was so divided that the intelligence reports state that Hamas actually brought their attack earlier because they could see there was turmoil, and they took advantage of that turmoil. Now, let me just be clear. I'm not saying that the disunity and that the Israelis who were disunified caused the attack. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what it did is it created a breach, it created a vulnerability for our enemies to come and attack us. Disconnection. We've seen after the war how the Jewish people have come back together. They've also become reconnected to who they are as Jewish people. Before that, and throughout our history, and I include myself in this, we haven't always been so connected to who we are, what our mission is, what our mandate is, what the Torah expects of us, what the Torah wants from us. We've been very disconnected as Jewish people. That disconnection from our Torah, from our beautiful heritage, also creates a vulnerability and doubt. Doubt, if you look on college campuses, how many Jewish kids were actually leading the march against Israel? How many Jewish kids would say, we stole the land from the Palestinians. We have to give it back. We've got to answer for this, the other side. They had a doubt about who they were, what their mission was. You see, people think the opposite of truth is a lie, right? You have the truth and a lie. That is correct. But there's a concept called MS. MS means truth with a capital T. The opposite of truth with a capital T isn't a lie. The opposite of truth with a capital T is doubt. Because a lie can be explained through social media. People can be disabused of a lie. But someone who has a deep doubt, what do you do with that? And when there's a doubt, when a Jew has a doubt, you become vulnerable. So there's this train coming, and we think we've got to stop this train. But we don't realize that all the people that we're trying to rally to stop this train, they want this train. They need this train. The BBC need this train. Our enemies need this train. The United Nations want this train and need this train and actually supply the man force, the labor and the parts. So what do I mean to step off the tracks? These 3 Ds. When we have unity instead of disunity. When we're connected to our Torah instead of being disconnected. And when we replace doubt with clarity. When we do these 3 things, I humbly propose, when the Jewish people do these 3 things, I think all these other things that we speak about will become irrelevant. The train's coming, you step back. It doesn't matter what the ANC do. It doesn't matter what they do on college campuses. All these things, just in the same way that those rockets somehow didn't hit their targets in Israel, somehow miraculously. When we do what we're supposed to do, I posit, I think, from what I understand, from what I've learned, and I could be wrong, so please tell me if I am. We as the Jewish people have done every single thing that we can do instead of doing the one thing that we should maybe try and do, which is to just understand what it means to be a Jew and just be more Jewish and do Jewish. I'll finish up with this idea. I was discussing this with my Rabbi Cohen, and he said to me, Rashi solved this for you. What do you mean? So Rashi is the foremost commentator on the Torah. In fact, when you look in any Chumash, in any book, a Jewish book of the Torah, you always see Rashi's commentary. He wrote 900 years ago. 900, correct? Yeah? Fact checked. Okay. 900 years ago. The first Rashi, day 1, page 1, he asks the questions like, why does the Torah start, why does the Bible start with in the beginning? He says it could have started much later with the first mitzvahs, the first laws the Jewish people got. So he brings an answer, I'm going to paraphrase. He says, the Torah starts with in the beginning so that we understand that the whole world belongs to God and that the land of Israel belongs to God, and he can give the land of Israel to whoever he wants, and he can take it away from them and give it to the Jews. Rabbi Cohen was saying that that's it. That's what it is. The whole world belongs to God, and what happens in the land of Israel is at God's discretion and at God's will. So then the question is, okay, the land is with us now. Are we going to lose it? Is it going to be with them? What's that fulcrum? How do we actually make it work? And I think it comes down to Sinai. What is our mandate? What is our role as Jewish people? Now, that doesn't mean that we're better. It just means that we have a job to do. Everyone's got a job to do. And our job to do is to fulfill the Sinai mandate. When we don't fulfill the Sinai mandate, we get like an email that kind of says, by the way, I'm going to send a train just to remind you, like you need to fill the mandate. And then the train hits us and we're, ooh, what are we doing? Oh, let's ask all these questions. And, we get the message, right? And then we forget, and then we kind of get on with things. So I humbly propose that if we just do what we are asked to do, and that doesn't mean we have to run around and be like crazy fundamentalist Jews. Each one in our own way, we need to understand what it means in our own hearts, what it means to be a Jew. That's all I think is expected of us. Each of us in our own hearts. What does it actually mean? And try to do that thing in small ways, incremental ways. And I think when we start to do those things, just like those missiles never hit, all our enemies will just fade. Like we saw Syria fell and the Berlin Wall just fell. All these things just fall. They just go away. And that's history. So I hope to not have to make any more movies about this. And I don't care about everybody else. I just care about the people in this room, because it only is up to us. And you say, but I'm not Jewish. You don't have to be Jewish. The Sinai mandate is for every single human being to understand what is your role in this world, and to have people on our side, people like you. I can't tell you how much it means to us to have you in the hall with us. I salute you and I thank you. To have the courage to stand up and say, we side with you, it takes courage, and we say thank you. And you don't have to be Jewish. We all just have to be the best human beings filling the role that we need to. And everything else will take care of itself. All right, so we'll talk more. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, rabbis. And thank you, everyone, for joining us.